another episode of Wicked Easy Cooking. Today we're going to be working with chickpeas, which are these round, cream-colored legumes, also known as garbanzo beans. These are consumed all over the world, especially in like African and a lot of the Asian countries. And they're also excellent. So let me give you some facts about these little gems here. They are an excellent source of protein, healthy fats, fiber, carbohydrates, and a long list of minerals and vitamins. Here's what the FDA says about it. A cup of these chickpeas has about 15 grams of protein. That's about 26% of the recommended daily allowance for men and about 30% for women. They also have 12.5 grams of fiber per cup, or roughly 50% of your daily needs, which is quite a bit for a little small bean. They also are high in the B vitamins, including folate, which we really know we need for our brain and our nervous system. It also has riboflavin. It has potassium, which is good for building muscles. It also has iron, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium, which are all great for building, bone structure and strength in there. Now, because of their protein levels, they're very favored by vegetarians. Also, people that, can't eat meat for various reasons, like in India, or maybe because they can't afford meat. So it's a great source of protein. Now, you can buy chickpeas canned, which is what these are, or you can buy them dry. Dried takes a lot of work. Just like any dried bean, you need to soak them in water for a few hours, so they rehydrate, and then you gotta cook them, which takes a long time unless you use a pressure cooker. Most people just use, the canned variety. I just give them a rinse, which I've done with these, and then just okay, these chickpeas are very versatile to work with. You could add these into soups, you could sprinkle them on salads, you could even mix them with spices for a real savory snack. Lots of things you can do with them. They're probably most famous for being in hummus. You've probably had hummus or hummus before. They just puree all these up and make that dip. So they're excellent. I'm going to show you 2 wicked easy recipes today, how you can throw these together for like a quick dinner or lunch I think you and your family will love. The first one is wicked easy chickpea curry. Okay, I'm going to put this with a lot of spices, saute it up, mix it with some tomato product, and I'm going to serve it with some rice. The second one is wicked easy coconut braised chickpeas. And this one I'm going to use coconut milk, sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to put some spinach in there to bolster it and give it some color and flavor, and also a bunch of different spices. So let me get started on those with that first one right now. Okay, our first recipe is the wicked easy chickpea curry, which I will post at the end of this video for you to have it and try it yourself at home. It's quick, going to take us about 15 minutes to prepare it, 15 minutes to cook it, 30 minutes you've got a meal on the table. This will probably make, 2-3 portions. You can easily double it. Like all my recipes, feel free to make substitutions. If you like an ingredient, you can use it. If you don't, admit it, substitute something else. As we go through, I'll give you some options. If you like something, add more of it maybe. Like the garlic. A lot of times I'm keeping it low as well as the heat in these dishes because I feed this to my family and my kids don't like too much of the spice. So this first one here, again, is going to be, a common dish that you could then bolster by adding in some other vegetables. So as it's cooking, you could throw in some broccoli, some cauliflower, something else into it if you had it around. So again, this is just the foundation. So we're going to have some kind of pepper. I'm going to put in the recipe jalapeno or serrano or some other pepper like that because you really like to have that heat. My kids don't like it. So I've got sweet bell peppers. I'm going to use red and yellow, and then I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes at the end just to add that heat into it. But I have to keep it pretty low if my family's going to eat it. So again, there's a substitution. We're also going to have a couple of cloves of garlic. All right, we've got some ginger, fresh ginger that I've peeled and just kind of rough chopped. Okay, so in this one, your recipe will say, it's about an inch piece. It's probably going to be about a tablespoon or so. Then I have a medium onion or a small onion, again, rough chopped up, because it is all going to go into this food process, those 4 items. We're going to blend them up until they're pureed, and then we're going to add it to our pan. So we're going to put some oil in here. In the recipe, I put canola oil, vegetable oil. I'm going to use some coconut oil. It's not the best for you, but I think it will add a nice flavor and a little bit of, depth to the dish. We're going to put that with our pureed vegetables in there and cook it all up. And then we're going to add our seasonings. So this is really where the dish comes alive. So in here, I've got some coriander, I've got cumin, and I've got turmeric. Okay, you'll see that in the recipe. I've got all 3 in here. It's about a teaspoon, and a half teaspoon for the turmeric. That's going to give us a lot of the color in there. Okay, then we're going to add canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Okay, about a cup and a half. So it's one of those 14-ounce cans or so that you can get. If you can buy them already diced, fine. If you have to get the larger ones, you just have to chop it up yourself. Include the juice. So just pour the whole can right in there. Then we have our chickpeas or our garbanzo beans. Again, 1 can. So they come about 14 ounces or so, 15 ounces there. Whatever kind you like. You can buy organic, you can buy just regular, you can buy no-name brands, whatever works for you. Drain it, give it a little bit of a rinse, and then you have that ready to go. We're going to put that in. That's all going to simmer. Then the last, we're going to put in some garam masala. This is wonderful. This is sweet, aromatic spice blend that, really is key to Indian cooking. This is going to finish our dish at the end. It's going to give it, some warm, kind of exotic flavors at the end. And this is a spice blend. So there's different types of masala blends in there, but this one comes with coriander, pepper, cumin, okay? That gives it a nice smell there as well. And it's also going to have cinnamon in there and some cardamom, which is a very unique smell. And then you can finish it with some parsley or cilantro, whatever you'd like, just to give it some color at the end, add a little bit of freshness in there. Okay, so let's now make it. Okay, so as it says in the recipe, we're going to add in our peppers, okay, our garlic, our ginger, and our onions into a food processor. And we want to turn this on and just get them pureed. So let me do that. Okay, so I have my ingredients here all pureed up. As it says, you start with your peppers and garlic and then, puree it, add in your onion, push down the sides. You don't want to make it liquidy. We don't want to liquefy it, but we do want to puree it and get it nice and diced. And once it's at that point, we can take our oil, right, and put it into a pan heated up to, medium-high heat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this in. Okay, we're going to cook this down, a couple minutes just to get those flavors to start blending. So we've got our nice coconut oil. You can already smell that, nice and fragrant. I'm going to add in our diced veggies. Okay, so we've been sweating this down, sauteing it there on medium heat. This combination of our vegetables. I think this is a very important step. This is our foundation of our house. Okay, we want to evaporate that moisture in there and saute them. No color, but just to get those flavors to blend. Okay, so it's been on there 4 minutes or so. Now I'm going to add in my spices. So we've got our turmeric in there and our cumin, okay, and our ground coriander. Oh, you can already smell that curry and cumin as soon as it hits that hot vegetables. And again, we stir this together, put it back on the heat for a couple minutes. Okay, our spice has been in there toasting, building that flavor profile. It's the next level of our house. Again, we went from that foundation, now we're like in the basement. Okay, so they've got all blended together, toasted a little bit. Now we can add the next step, which is our pureed or diced tomatoes with their juice. So now we're like at the first floor here. So add all those in, give it a stir. You want to add in like our salt here, maybe half teaspoon. So, and we're going to stir all that on here. And we're going to put it back onto the heat just to bring it together. Okay, so our tomatoes have been cooking in there and stewing down. You know, they're all incorporated. Now is when we're going to add our chickpeas. We'll pour those in. Okay, give them a stir. We're going to add in our garam masala. Sprinkle that in. Add a lot of depth to this dish. We're going to stir this, put it back on the heat, cover it, and let it kind of stew together, maybe about 5 minutes or so. And we're going to take it off and we're going to plate it up. So let me do that, and then I'll show you putting it all together. Okay, our mixture has been cooking away here. So, and I also want to tell you to cover it if you can. If you can't, you're probably going to get too much evaporation. And if that happens and your dish starts to get a little too thick, that's okay. Just add some more water into it, you know. Just replace that was cooked out. But a cover will definitely prevent that from happening. So now we're going to taste it, and we're going to correct any seasonings if we need to. Get a little garbanzo there. That's good. I think you could use a touch more salt. And then a little pepper. Ooh. Okay. So you could add in any other spices now, depending on, you know, the flavor of your onions and jalapenos, and, you know, you need more garlic, so you could adjust that. You could put a little more curry, cumin, whatever you'd like, you know, to get it to your suitability. So now we're going to serve it. So I have just a plate here with some jasmine rice. You know, you could use basmati, brown rice, white rice, whatever you'd like to serve it with. I like the jasmine. It's very fragrant, almost flowery. You know, sometimes they use basmati, which is more nutty flavor, but any rice you'd like. Make a little well in the middle here. And then we're going to take our mixture and just kind of put it in there over this rice. But you could serve this any way you'd like. And then I'm going to add a little bit of my parsley here. You could add cilantro as mentioned in the recipe just to give it a little bit of color. Okay, and there it is. Doesn't that look nice? It's healthy, okay, it's vegetarian, packed with protein, packed with flavor with all these spices in here. A great dish, luncheon, dinner. You could even save your leftovers, maybe pack it up in some Tupperware or something, bring it to work the next day, microwave it. But proof is in the pudding. Wow. Does that blast you? That's good. So let me go on to the next recipe now. Okay, our second recipe is coconut braised chickpeas. Again, I'll include this after the video. So, you know, it's a wicked easy chickpea dish where they're going to be simmered in coconut milk with garlic and ginger and some spinach and sun-dried tomatoes to make a highly flavored finished dish I think you're going to love. So, starting out, as you'll see here in the ingredients, is we have some oil. Coconut oil I'm going to use again. I think it adds to this flavor. Not the best oil to use, but you could use vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you have. I'm going to put that into our pan. And then we're going to add in, you know, about a small onion, you know, a cup or so, diced up. We're going to just put that into our pan and get that started. Okay, we'll let that cook. Let me go over the rest of the ingredients with you. We're going to let that sweat down, get translucent. Again, building that foundation of our dish. I'll put 10 minutes in there, but it could be as quick as 5 minutes. You don't want to brown them. We're not sauteing, trying to cook onions. We're just trying to get them to get translucent, collapse, open up their cells, release their liquids. So it's called sweating. So it's on medium heat. That's why it takes so long. You don't want to try to rush this by jacking up the heat. Okay? When that comes out, 10 minutes, we'll say, 8 minutes, translucent, we're going to add in our cloves of garlic. There's about 4 in there minced. And then I've got about a tablespoon of fresh ginger that I've grated, okay? Put that on a microplane, you know, grate it up, however you need to. You can chop it small if you need to, but it's good if you can grate it. We're going to put that in. It's going to get kind of fragrant. Then I've got sun-dried tomatoes. All right, these ones were totally dry, so I rehydrated them in some warm water and then just poured off the water, but you can get them in jars, packed in oil, whatever way. I'm going to slice them up, make them into little julienne strips, okay? You don't want to add them in hard though. They'll take a long time to reconstitute and get soft, so make sure they're either already soft in the oil, packed that way, or if you're totally dry, just pour some hot water over them for 5 minutes or so and drain it off, and that'll soften them. We're going to add that in. That's going to add a pop of flavor into our dish. And then we're going to use lemon. 1 lemon, I'm going to juice it and zest it. Okay, so again, as I always show, roll it so it's easier to get all the juice out of it. Now you also want to zest it before that you juice it, so to make it easier. Again, you use a microplane here, and we're just going to, rub it on all sides of it. If you don't have it, you could just use a little potato peeler type thing, vegetable peeler, and peel off a little bit of that zest on the outside. Don't go into the white though. The white on the skin is called the pith, and it's very bitter. So you don't want to have that. You just want the yellow part, which is where all those essential oils are that are very, very fragrant. Okay, you can see it all sticking here. You just wipe it into the bowl, and you'll have your zest in there. Once you get your zest, then we're going to cut this in half and squeeze it and get our lemon juice. All right, so we're going to add that in as it says there. That was step number 4, and we're going to add in our red pepper flakes as well. Again, control that. Like it spicy, dump in more, or the amount I'm going to put here. I'm going to go a little less, again, because my kids, they won't eat it. It's too spicy for them. So we got the red peppers. Let that cook about a minute. Then we're going to put in our chickpeas. Okay, now we're going to turn up the heat. We really want to, almost brown these a little bit. We want them to, saute, kind of frying them in the pan. So we'll do that. That's in your step number 5 there. Add the chickpeas. Okay, you got to get coated with this tomato mixture. Cook, keeping an eye on them though. We don't want them to burn. After that happens, we're going to add in some spinach. Got some baby spinach leaves here. We'll do it a handful at a time. If you ever work with spinach, you know that it collapses. As soon as it hits the heat, all the moisture comes out of it, and it'll get really small. So these 2 bowls will end up with just a little bit of spinach. But that's going to add not only color, a little bit of flavor, but it's going to add a lot of nutrients to our dish as well. And then after that all gets collapsed and put in there, we're going to finish it with a little bit of seasonings. So you'll see your next ingredients on here. We're going to make coconut milk first. We got a can of coconut milk, like 14 ounces or so. Any kind you want. That's going to make our sauce. And then we're going to add a little dried ginger in there, salt and black pepper, and we're going to finish with either cilantro or parsley, whatever you like. So let me keep doing this, and I'll talk about the steps as we go. Okay, my onion's been going about 5 minutes now. They're starting to break down a little bit, but I do see some browning in here. Now, if that happens, your pan's probably too hot, turn it down. If you need to stop it, just add a little bit of cold water in there. A little bit, teaspoon, tablespoon. That'll, reduce the heat. It'll stop that, searing, okay? And the steam will help break down those onions a little bit too. So if you want to add a little bit of water in there, that's always a good tip, and it will cool those onions down. We put them back on for another 5. Okay, our onions look good. I don't know if you can see those, but they've lost their bright whiteness. They've kind of collapsed a little bit. They're a little bit softer, and they're translucent in color. So at that point, add in the ginger and add in the garlic, okay? I want to put this back on just to get them fragrant, just to start, collapsing, releasing their flavors too. So not very long. Keep an eye on it. We don't want to scorch it. Okay, as soon as you can smell that garlic, it's ready. We can go to the next step, which is to add in the sun-dried tomatoes. Give that a stir. Then we're going to add in our lemon zest. Okay, it's going to add a nice brightness to it, and those lemon oils in there. And lastly, our red pepper flakes, as much as you'd like. Then once it's incorporated, put it back on for again another minute, just to warm those up. Okay, they're incorporated. Chickpeas. Okay, once those chickpeas are in there, give them a stir. Let them get incorporated with that tomato mixture. Then back on the heat for a couple of minutes, turn it up. Want to really kind of get a sear on those chickpeas, kind of fry them a little bit, but keep an eye on them. Don't want them to burn. Okay, these chickpeas are all incorporated. They're really drying out, starting to get a little toasty. I don't know if you can hear that. They're searing away in here. Okay, getting a little bit brown on the bottom, building some fond. That's okay. About a minute more. Okay, so now we can start adding in our spinach. Handful at a time or so. Okay, stir it around. It's going to start wilting. It's going to release its moisture. It's going to get really soft. It's going to help deglaze the pan at the same time. Don't need to put it back on the heat. There's enough heat in here. So just give it a stir. Okay, you can see they're already starting to wilt a little bit. And then just keep adding another handful in there. Probably add this whole bowl now. Trick is you don't want to add it all at once because then you got no room to stir. Add it in the amount so you can control. So if you can do more, depending on the size of your pan, do more. If you have to do less. So really no science behind it. It's just what you can control. Let them all collapse. So you can see the spinach is, breaking down here. Okay, I've got the last of the spinach in here, starting to break down. We can go to adding the coconut milk. Add that all in. Scrape up the bottom where all that fond is. That's going to give us flavor. And then we're going to put this back on the heat and bring it up to a simmer. We're going to finish it with our seasoning and we're going to serve. And you want to do this kind of quick because this spinach will lose its color pretty fast. So this dish, once the spinach is added and the coconut milk, it's basically just warming it up, correct the seasoning, and serve. Let's put this back on the heat. Okay, the coconut milk has come up to a simmer. You can see it's all incorporated. Spinach still has that nice green color, nice bright color. So now we can go on to finishing the dish. I have the dried ginger here we're going to add in. We've got our nice lemon juice, fresh. It's going to add a nice pop to our dish, that acidity in there. Now we want to taste it. I need salt. And a little bit of pepper. Give it a stir. And then try it. That's good. Okay, so I have a plate here. This time I'm using some brown rice. So again, you could use jasmine, basmati, anything you like. Doesn't even have to be over rice. Make a little well there. I'm going to put some of that spinach in there. We've got our braised chickpeas. Okay, and now some of that sauce with the sun-dried tomatoes on it. Oh yeah. Okay, finish it with cilantro or parsley, whichever you choose. And there it is. Now look great. Again, healthy, protein-packed, vitamin-packed dish that'll fill you up. The coconut flavor is really good. After thinking about it, I think I could use a touch more salt and put some on top there. And try that again, stir that in. Well, there it is. Again, hope you try this at home. Hope you try both of these recipes at home. Wicked easy to do, and I think you're really going to enjoy them, you and your family. Please let me know in the comment sections how you liked them. And as always, please subscribe if you haven't and hit the like button. Share these videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.